In this video, I'm going to explain the top 5 biggest failures in Amazon FBA product research and exactly how you can avoid them. So stay tuned. What's up everyone? Welcome to today's video. If you're new to this channel, welcome. My name's Myles and I'm a 7-figure a year Amazon FBA private label seller. I started selling on Amazon just over 18 months ago, and in the time since then, I've been able to grow my business into 2 brands, 35 products, and get it to a point where it almost passively generates more than $100,000 every month. So here's a photo of my most recent sales. So this is my life, my passion, and the business model that's enabled me to rapidly build wealth while traveling the world and having the freedom to enjoy my dream life. Today, I'm here in Los Estoraques, hiking in Colombia. It's absolutely amazing. I'm gonna flip the camera around and just show you a little bit. So check it out. How cool is this? Oh, wow. So my dream is to empower you as well to have the same freedom to be able to do whatever you want in your life, whenever you want to do it. So if you're interested in learning about Amazon FBA, private label, make sure to subscribe to the channel right now. I really appreciate this. Don't forget to click the notification bell as well. Like the videos and leave me any comments or concerns that you have. I read every single one. Now that I've done this myself, I'm here to empower you along your own Amazon FBA journey. Okay, so today we're talking about Amazon FBA product research and the biggest failures and how you can avoid them. And I'm gonna try and avoid falling over while I'm talking. So product research is the first part of the process, and it's the most important because everything else starts from there. So you don't have to do this perfectly. I'm gonna say that very clearly. You don't have to get the product research perfect, but you have to do it well. Why? Because if you do it well, success from then on can be easy. It's not guaranteed, but it can be easy. If you get this completely wrong, nothing you do from that point on can give you success. So getting started on the right foot and avoiding these specific failures is all important. So many people come to me asking for help with a product that they've already put all of this work into. They've already, done the product research, found the supplier, got it customized, got it shipped to Amazon, done the Amazon listing, launched the product, and then it hasn't worked for them and they're trying to work out why. And a lot of the time, the reason comes all the way back to the product research and one of these specific 5 failures. But these failures are relatively easy to identify and avoid if you know what you're looking for. So I want you to watch this video, take notes, and then when you go away and you do your own product research, just ask yourself, are you watching out for these failures? So failure number 1, not understanding the niche. So let's say you're looking at either Jungle Scout web app or Viral Launch product discovery. Now, both of those tools are fantastic product research tools. They really easily give you a lot of data about products that meet the metrics and things that you're looking for. However, the problem here is that these programs will both give you individual listings. So that's individual ASINs, individual products. Now, the issue is that you don't know exactly how those specific products are driving their sales on Amazon. They could be driving lots of traffic through Facebook ads. They could have a fantastic brand presence on Instagram or be using influence to send those buyers to Amazon. So you're just gonna see the final numbers, but you don't know how they're doing it. And the way to avoid this trap is to look at the niche. So what you need to do is take the primary keywords from the title of that product listing. Generally, it'll be the very first keywords in the title. Take that, type it into Amazon, and see what actually comes up. You need to look at the entire niche, all of the listings in it, all of the competitors, and get a better sense of what's going on. Or another way of putting this is that you need to look at more data points than just one product listing. Generally, the more data points you have, the more accurate your product research is going to be. Now, once you've done this and you've looked on Amazon, you see this niche, there are a few things to watch out for. Firstly, watch out for whether that product that you found, so maybe it's doing 20K a month, great. Once you've checked the competitors, are they also doing similar numbers, or is it just that one that you found and then the rest are not selling at all? So that's a red flag. There are a few reasons why that can be. Firstly, it could be the reasons that I mentioned before. So maybe that is a real brand that you haven't recognized. Maybe they're spending huge amounts of PPC ads, for example, or Facebook ads, or anything like that. In certain niches, for example, shoes. Everyone's buying Nike shoes, they're buying Adidas shoes. They're not gonna buy a random, private label brand. So you would see that this top listing up there is crazy, it's doing so well, but there's a reason for it, and that reason isn't something that you can recreate. So you need to be aware of that. Other reasons, it could be a restricted product. So sometimes somebody can get past restrictions, but you won't be able to. So watch out, you need to check for restricted products. Amazon has a restricted product list. You can type in, I think, Amazon restricted products into Google, should give you that list. Other issues to watch out for are patents. So sometimes you'll see one product that's selling really well and either nobody else is selling it or there's no sort of sellers with longevity that have been around for a while. Sometimes that's a patented product. You can try and sell it, but you won't last very long. So to check for patents, it's quite simple. Go to Google Patents, type in that product and see what you get. Normally patents are very specific designs, so you can have a product in one particular style or design that's patented and then one that's not, and you just need to go into those listings, look around, and check whether there are patents on the specific one that you're looking at. One last thing as well is product or market segmentation. So check, sometimes you'll get a keyword that actually has various different products within it, and maybe some of those products can be at different price points or can be selling much more popular than other ones. And so you need to, again, go into those specific products and check whether the one that you're looking at, the one that you're planning on selling, is even the same thing as other ones that you're looking. If you're using those data points, they have to be the same product. Second biggest failure is not understanding the price of success. So if you found a hot product in a competitive niche, so that means, you know, the product is maybe doing $20,000 to $50,000 a month, but there are a lot of competitors that are existing with, you know, they've been around for years, they might have hundreds or thousands of reviews across that first page, then you have to have budgeted for heavy giveaways and expensive PPC costs. And those may last, the PPC costs at least, will probably last forever in that product niche. So the key thing that leads to a lot of new sellers failing for this reason is a lack of understanding the fact that Amazon's algorithm is not going to put you on page one of a competitive keyword. So it's a competitive niche, which is normally, you know, they're normally the ones with the big numbers. It's not going to put you up there unless you do a giveaway or you have some other way of generating those initial sales. So the generally accepted formula to getting your product ranked on page one or at the top of page one even with top sellers is that you need to give away, so take the top sellers in that keyword, figure out how many units they're selling each day, then what you need to do is give away that amount of units every day for at least 7 to 10 days. You can use other alternatives like Facebook ads, doing things on Instagram, for example, just any way of giving units away at a discount. This is cool. But the key point is you're going to need to do this. If you don't do this, your product is not going to be ranked. Amazon's algorithm will not let it be put up there, and it won't be in a position to be able to make those sales to make the money that you need to make. So the key failure is in not estimating those costs or just not having enough money to be able to do them properly. So yes, while I'm talking now about the launch process, you have to understand this when you're doing your product research. If you don't understand this, then you'll make the same mistake that many new sellers do, which is focusing too much on the money that you think you can make and not focusing enough on the money that you're going to have to spend to get your product into the position that you need it to be to make that money. Number 3, Me Too products. So if you're selling the exact same thing as everybody else, if you're using the exact same criteria as everybody else, if you're selling the exact same thing that everybody else wants to sell, you're in a Me Too market. So some classic examples of this would be the garlic press or the silicone spatula. Go and search those products on Amazon and have a look for yourself. As you scroll through hundreds of listings that are almost identical, think about why you, if you were a shopper, why would you pick one over the other? In markets like that, where there's such little room for differentiation and there's such little differentiation, a customer is going to end up choosing because of things like price. So that's going to lead to price wars. Or reviews. So basically, there's not much you can do about that. The people who've been around longer have more social proof, more reviews, and so they're more likely to stay at the top. And the other thing that people are going to do is they're going to pay to stay at the top. And again, that's not something you want to get into because there's no end to that. So when you're doing your product research, check if this is a Me Too product. Check what room you have to differentiate your product to stand out from all of the others. And there's a hierarchy of things that you can do or things you can look for as opportunities. First of all, is real differentiation. So this is real problem solving and a real improvement that you can make to the existing competition. So go through all of the listings, check all of the competitors' reviews, the customer reviews. Particularly look for the 3, 2, and 1-star reviews and see what customers are unhappy about. See what they like, yes, in the 5-star reviews. This is useful as well. But if there are specific things that are recurring problems that customers don't like about, all of your competition's products, and it's something that you can take away, go to a supplier and improve on, a lot of the time, that's when you'll have this really unique product that actually you don't really need to do much to launch it because a customer identifies that you fixed that problem, you fixed that pain point. That is the ideal thing that you can do to stand out. In some products, there aren't many things that you can do. Again, if it's just a simple, a baking tray or something like that, or a baking mat, or I'm thinking of silicone kitchen products, there's not much wrong with them and there's not much you can do. So the next best thing on that hierarchy then is to look at your niche, identify when there are different styles, different variations, maybe different sizes or designs, things like that, and work out which are the more popular ones and see if you can really maybe even make like a better combination than what exists. So that can be any of those things. And They're normally quite simple things, but sometimes you'll find that a particular design or a particular, like a 4-pack or something like that is much more popular than all the rest. And yet maybe the market doesn't really reflect that. And so you at least can look and dig down and find the better variation within your niche. So if you can do that, that's pretty good as well. Third and final thing on this hierarchy is branding. Now, this means less on Amazon than it does off Amazon. Ideally, you can build up a real brand using social media, on Instagram, really have your product line stand for something. And so a brand is essentially an identity. It's almost like a personal identity, but it's a product or a company. And you can try and convey this through Amazon. So through your listing images, through your packaging, through the way that you write your listing copy. You want to make a customer feel something. When they associate your product, they should associate it with a feeling, basically. Again, it's harder to do this if you're just using Amazon because everything is so standardized. And by the way, when I talk about branding, I really mean more than just the basic definition of private label, which is to just slap a logo on something. That is not going to invoke any feeling or emotion in a customer. Again, the point of this is to differentiate your product in a real meaningful way. Because again, if we look at our previous example, which was the silicone spatula, the garlic press type thing, if you can't differentiate your product in any way and you're competing with hundreds of other sellers selling the exact same product, then it comes down to things like price, things like reviews, things like how much money you can spend to stay at the top, and then you're in trouble. So one last tip to avoid selling a Me Too product that's going to lead you down the road to failure is to avoid sexy products. So if you sell a product because you think it sounds cool and your friends and family think it sounds cool, there's a really big chance that thousands and thousands of other people also think it sounds cool, and they're also probably picking it just for that reason. Well, this is cool. So go for things that if you pick this product and you told your mother that you were selling it, she'd just look at you weird and not understand. That's probably a good product. And as well, you don't have to love your product. So I don't love any of the products that I sell. They're just a means to an end. And it's best to take away that emotional attachment. So really distance yourself from the notion that it needs to be something that you fall in love with or the people around you will fall in love with. It doesn't, because if everybody loves selling the product or the idea of selling the product, then you can have so much more competition. Number 4, not understanding the product. What can go wrong? So you have to do this during the product research stage. When you're looking at all these products, think about ways in which customers could misuse the product. Think about ways in which the product could be damaged or broken, either at the factory during production. Think about ways in which the Chinese supplier can get your production wrong. And you have to think about ways in which you can mitigate this. If you can't mitigate this, then it becomes a risk. So many new sellers get all the way to the launch, all the way to selling on Amazon, and then suddenly find out that 20% or 30% of their items have been broken or they were defective and they didn't work. And customers on Amazon will always return broken or defective items. And actually, Amazon will block your listing as well if you have a return rate that's too high. So you want to avoid these issues from the start. When you're doing your product research, you need to go and check firstly, examine the product, then go and check all of your competitors' reviews. Again, the 1, 2, 3-star reviews, because that will tell you what customers are unhappy about. Maybe there's a recurring defect. If it's electronic, maybe something is failing within the product. If it's a fragile product, then it's probably arriving damaged or it's breaking after a short period of time. You need to look at those things. And while you're doing the research stage, you need to ensure that you can, when reaching out to suppliers, for example, you can make sure that those are fixed or that they're prevented. And for a lot of products, that's really easy to do, but you have to think about it beforehand, because once it happens, once you've got the product shipped into Amazon, it's pretty much too late. I was talking to somebody recently who had shipped all of his products in, and then he'd realized that they were all defective, basically. And then what you have to do is you have to ask Amazon to remove all of the items from all of its warehouses, because it spreads them out over lots of fulfillment centers. That can take months. It costs you per unit that you do that for. And then you have to all get them, so after, like a month or 2 months of Amazon actually finding them in all its warehouses, sending them in little boxes, by the way, tiny like individual boxes to your house, then you have to go through and inspect them one by one yourself, by hand, throw away all the ones that are defective, and then hopefully keep some that work properly. That's a pretty big fail, but it's easily prevented. All you have to do when you're doing your product research and you're looking at a product, think about the ways in which it can fail, check those reviews, write a comprehensive list of ways in which the product could go wrong. And then what you're going to do is when you're doing your order, you're going to have that list, provide it to a third-party inspection service, and get that shipment inspected before it leaves China. Problem solved. And the 5th biggest failure is just following the herd. So there are a lot of really common criteria out there that people recommend you use when you're finding your first product to sell on Amazon. shoebox size or less. It's got to be lightweight. It has to be more than $20, less than $40. It has to fit into certain categories. Use those as guidelines, but really don't follow them too rigidly. Because when you think about it, everybody else is following them rigidly. And so you're just looking, again, where everybody else is looking. And like we talked about before, that's how you find yourself selling a Me Too product. So, I mean, think about selling something that's the size of a bed. If it's going to make you $50 per sale and you can sell 10 per day, you'd be silly to pass that opportunity up. So I want to clarify, you probably will find most profitable products within those common criteria, but there are still going to be products that sit outside of that. So for example, I ship everything by sea, almost everything, wherever I can. I will pick products that don't even make sense to ship by air because I don't mind shipping by sea, because it's an extra barrier, it's an extra hurdle that people have to go through, and most people can't be bothered. So I'll be bothered, I'll do it, and I'll make the money. Similarly, most of my products sit between $20 and up to $80 with an average around $30, but I'm not going to not sell something that's $10 if it's selling 100 units a day and it's making $3 profit. $300 profit a day is a lot of money, and I will gladly take that opportunity. So the common theme here is that a lot of times with product research, to be successful, you just need to go outside whatever everybody else is doing, think outside the box a little bit. Also, don't be afraid to put in a little bit of extra work, do that differentiation. All of these things add up. So after all of that, I know this is probably starting to sound a bit more complicated. Product research was meant to be easy, right? Well, here's the thing, it isn't easy. But also you have to realize that your first product, it's not going to be your last product. It's not going to be a perfect product by no means. And this is your learning opportunity. This is your opportunity to learn how Amazon FBA works, hopefully make some good profit as well, but then be able to expand into more and more products from there. And so don't put so much pressure on this first one to get everything right. As long as you've recognized these 5 biggest mistakes that lead to failure, learn from what I've told you today, and you can put those things in place to prevent them from happening to you, I think you're going to kill it with your first Amazon FBA product. I hope you found this knowledge useful that I've given you today. If you have, and you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. Please like the video, leave any comments or questions if you have any. I will get back to you as soon as I can. That's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.